The stars have truly stepped up at the 2026 World Cup. For the first time in years, football's biggest names have taken center stage on the grandest stage of all. Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Harry Kane, Vinicius Jr., and Ousmane Dembélé have all been among the goals. Michael Olise has been one of the tournament's standout creators, while Jude Bellingham, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Lamine Yamal have also dominated the headlines with their performances. But even though this tournament has largely belonged to football's biggest stars, there are still a few household names who are yet to get involved. We're already into the knockout stage, yet several high-profile players still haven't stepped onto the field even once. So who are these surprising omissions? That's exactly what we're looking at in today's video. Here are 8 players who have shockingly played 0 minutes at the 2026 World Cup. Let's begin with N'Golo Kanté. When Didier Deschamps included the French icon in his World Cup squad, hardly anyone expected him to spend the tournament watching from the sidelines. Yet after 4 matches, that has been the reality. Even at 35 years old, Kanté remains a player capable of contributing to any team, but Deschamps has still not found an opportunity to use him. What makes it even more surprising is that France have already used 3 different midfield combinations during the tournament, and Kanté hasn't been part of a single one. Deschamps had an ideal chance to hand the former Chelsea midfielder some valuable minutes against Norway, especially since France had already booked their place in the knockout rounds, but he chose not to. Maybe you could argue that Kanté was selected mainly for the experience and leadership he brings behind the scenes. But if that's the case, then how do you explain Warren Zaïre-Emery? The 20-year-old was coming off an outstanding season in which he became a key figure for a hugely successful PSG side, playing an important role as they lifted both the league title and the UEFA Champions League. He made 54 appearances for PSG in all competitions, and most people believed he had done more than enough to earn meaningful minutes for France at this World Cup. Instead, 4 matches into the tournament, he still hasn't left the bench even once. When you think about it, that's a pretty incredible situation. And that's not the only surprising story. Ronald Araujo also arrived at this World Cup and left without playing a single minute. Considering he's one of the biggest names in the Uruguay squad, seeing him go through the entire tournament without featuring was unexpected. To be fair, he arrived carrying a muscle injury, but he was available for the match against Spain. With Uruguay desperately chasing a goal, Marcelo Bielsa could have thrown him on and even used him as an emergency striker, especially with his forwards struggling to make an impact. Instead, he stayed on the bench. It was a very unusual decision. Even more surprising, though, was the complete absence of Facundo Pellistri. The 24-year-old former Manchester United winger is quick, skillful, and a constant threat in attack. Considering Uruguay struggled throughout the tournament from start to finish, it's difficult to understand how Pellistri failed to see the field even once. Even if the coaching staff didn't believe he deserved a place in the starting lineup, it's hard to justify not giving a player with his qualities at least a brief appearance off the bench. The situation with David Raya, however, is a little different. It's true that managers rarely rotate their first-choice goalkeeper during a major international tournament, and with Spain still needing a result in their final group match against Uruguay, it's understandable why Luis de la Fuente kept faith with his regular starter. Still, it's pretty remarkable when you think about it. A goalkeeper who has won the Premier League Golden Glove 3 times, lifted the Premier League title, and reached a UEFA Champions League final has spent the entire tournament watching from the bench behind Unai Simon. After all, Raya has established himself as one of the world's finest goalkeepers over the past few seasons. He's an outstanding shot stopper, controls his penalty area with confidence, reacts brilliantly in one-on-one situations, and is excellent with the ball at his feet. When you look at everything he brings, the fact that he hasn't played a single minute at this World Cup is genuinely surprising. Of course, Joan Garcia is an outstanding goalkeeper too. He recently helped Barcelona win the league, claimed the Zamora Trophy, and was also recognized with the Save of the Season award. But he has only recently broken into the senior national team and is still a young goalkeeper, so you can understand why many see him as Spain's long-term future. Raya, meanwhile, is 30 years old and arguably right in the middle of his prime. That makes it even more surprising that he has yet to feature, and unless something changes, he may not play a single minute before the tournament comes to an end. There's another Spanish star who still hasn't stepped onto the pitch at this World Cup. Any idea who it is? Drop your guess in the comments, and we'll reveal the answer shortly. And while you're down there, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now's the perfect time to do it so you never miss any of our future videos. Done? Great, let's get back to it. Another omission that has really caught us by surprise is Kobbie Mainoo. 4 matches into the tournament, the highly talented 21-year-old midfielder is still waiting for his first opportunity under Thomas Tuchel, and it's become one of the biggest talking points back in England. Well-known figures such as Wayne Rooney and Luke Littler have both called on Tuchel to give the Manchester United midfielder a chance at the World Cup, but so far, the England manager has stuck with his current selections. Every other midfielder in the squad, Declan Rice, Elliot Anderson, Eberechi Eze, Jude Bellingham, Morgan Rogers, and Jordan Henderson, has already featured during this World Cup. The only exception is Kobbie Mainoo. Given his ability, commitment, and relentless work ethic, it's quite surprising that he's still waiting for his first minute of action. Even if he isn't in the starting lineup, you would still expect him to be the kind of player who can make an impact from the bench. After all, if Jordan Henderson, now 35 and well beyond his peak years, has been given minutes at this World Cup, then surely Kobbie Mainoo deserves an opportunity too. Earlier, we mentioned that another Spanish midfielder would appear on this list. That player is Martín Zubimendi. Surprisingly, he didn't feature in any of Spain's group stage matches, which is something we genuinely didn't expect. This is a midfielder who played a major role in Arsenal's Premier League title-winning campaign this season, so it's difficult to understand how he hasn't managed to play a single minute for Spain. And remember, he also featured in the European Championship final 2 years ago, so it's not as though he hasn't already proven himself in this team. What makes the situation even more surprising is that Luis de la Fuente has regularly rotated his midfield throughout the tournament. Rodri, Pedri, Gavi, Dani Olmo, Alex Baena, Yeremy Pino, Mikel Merino, and Fabian Ruiz have all received meaningful playing time during the group stage, yet Zubimendi has been left out every single time. That's exactly why this decision feels so unusual. Of course, replacing Rodri was never going to be easy. As Spain's captain and a Ballon d'Or winner, he's one of the first names on the team sheet. But considering how much the midfield has been rotated, leaving the Arsenal midfielder without a single appearance is still quite difficult to explain. Finally, we have Lucas Hernandez, who is also yet to step onto the pitch for France at this tournament. While his younger brother, Theo Hernandez, who now plays in the Saudi Pro League by the way, has already started a couple of matches at this World Cup. Lucas, despite recently winning his 3rd UEFA Champions League title, is still waiting for his first minute of action. You could say it highlights just how much quality France have throughout their squad. Even so, Lucas Hernandez is one of the few players still in this team who was also part of France's 2018 World Cup winning squad. With that experience, you would have expected Didier Deschamps to have given him at least some playing time by now. There are also a few honorable mentions worth pointing out. Marcus Thuram has played just a single minute at this World Cup after coming on in the 90th minute against Iraq. Ibrahima Konate, widely regarded as one of the best defenders in world football, has featured for only 14 minutes. Atletico Madrid's Marc Pubil is still waiting for his first appearance for Spain, while Rayan Cherki has looked frustrated with the limited minutes he has received since the tournament began. Now it's your turn. Can you think of any other players who have surprisingly failed to play a single minute at this World Cup? Which omission has shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on notifications so you never miss any future uploads. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.